Hello there, it's Michelle, and I want to share with you some thoughts today about how to use nutritive tonics to support your mood and energy. And if you don't know me, I'm a clinical herbalist, a functional nutrition practitioner, and I help my clients around supporting their mood and energy from a trauma-informed perspective that really starts with regulating our nervous system response as that foundation for everything else that might be showing up in our mind and our body and how we can impact our health in a positive way. And so when I think about using nutritive tonics to support our mood and energy, I think about so many of the women that I worked with who are just really struggling with fatigue. Maybe they're struggling with sleep or depression or anxiety. And they recognize that there is this nervous system response or pattern that is showing up for them of what we might call a chronic freeze pattern, right? That state of low energy. We don't have the capacity to handle the stress, the things that show up in our lives. And there, of course, can be so many reasons behind why these types of nervous system patterns show up. But one of them can just be the fact that on a biology level, this physiological level of the body, if we don't have enough energy to handle the things that come up in our life, whether that's just day-to-day things that and responsibilities that we all have to do, you go to a job, cook dinner, get groceries, all of those things, and not not even talking about some of the more stressful things that we often go through and deal with. And so if we don't have this capacity on this internal level to create the energy to do the things that we need to do, we can find ourselves in this state of more of a chronic freeze pattern, low energy, this inability to move forward that can show up in our body with our mood, right? And with maybe anxiety or depression. Again, sleep issues are so common, digestive issues. And now hopefully you can see how they're all related to our nervous system response. And I want to talk about how we can use herbs as nutritive tonics to support that body's ability to handle the stress and the things that come up in our life. But before I get to that, I want to take a little aside and share with you a thought that I think will really help to illuminate and understand why nutritive tonics are so important in supporting our health. Again, no matter what situation or symptoms we might be dealing with. And what I want you to understand is that when we're talking about the imbalances that show up in our mood, our energy, our digestion, everything can come down to two basic roots of physiological function, okay? It's either nutrition or detoxification. So everything that's happening in the body when we are in balance, we're getting adequate nutrients into our system, which we need to build tissues and create energy. And yes, even to help with supporting our detoxification pathways, because on the other side of that nutrition coin is detoxification, this ability to move wastes and toxins out of the cell, out of the body, so that we're staying in balanced. It's just like the house that you live in, right? We have to bring things into our home for us to live, groceries, of course, clothing, all the things we need to survive and to live and to function optimally. But we also need to kind of clear out the junk, right? We need to take out the trash every week, maybe get rid of some things that are taking up space, right? So that we can live efficiently and energetically. And so everything really that's happening in our body when we are imbalanced is coming back to these two roots of physiological function. And so we're going to talk about this nutrition side of things today, right? This nourishment that our body needs, because I see so often when I'm working with clients that nutrient deficiencies and imbalances are almost always a part of the picture for someone who is struggling with their mood and energy. And I will just give you one simple example. I often recommend for my clients that they test things like zinc and vitamin D. And for clients who are struggling with anxiety or depression, for example, they're often deficient in these nutrients. And so we know we need to support that, right? Even if they're eating a good diet, even if they are taking some supplements, sometimes we can still be deficient. in certain nutrients that are really impacting our mood and energy. So when we understand that, we want to support this nutrition side of the coin, right? This two roots of physiological function, with nutrition being one of the biggest pieces that we can support to get that energy back and stay balanced in our mood and in our health. And, again, we think about food and supplements often when we think about balancing our nutrient levels. And of course, that's so important. But often I see, again, as I said, even when someone is eating a good diet or they're taking supplements, they may still be lacking in some of these nutrients. And there can be a number of different reasons for that. And I'm not going to go into all of those, but I want to share a few thoughts around that because number one, our food doesn't quite have the same nutritive value that it has in past generations. Our soils are more depleted of minerals and nutrients, for example. And there's been studies showing that the amount of magnesium in vegetables, for just one example, has been diminished by quite a bit over the last several decades. And so we may be eating the same foods that, our past generations were eating, but we're not getting the same amount of nutrients from that food. And I mean, let's be real, we're probably not eating quite the same quality of diet as our grandparents and our great grandparents were. And of course, that impacts our nutrition as well. And it's one reason why, you know, as a nation here in the US, where I am at, people are eating plenty of food. In fact, obesity is a real problem here in the US. And so it's not really a lack of food, but it's a lack of quality nutrition, right? Getting those nutrients into the body in a balanced way. Our digestive system can also impact this. I work with so many clients who are struggling with their mood and energy. And when we start digging into this digestive piece, right, there's a lot of digestive issues showing up. They're not digesting their food well. They may not be absorbing nutrients and minerals from their food optimally. And so we work on that. But if we're eating a good diet, if maybe we're even taking some nutritional supplements to try to make up for the lack of nutrients in our diet and getting our energy back on track, this is where I think that herbal nutritive tonics can be so valuable and important to bring into the picture because some of these nutritive tonics can really make a big difference in helping to address some of the imbalances and deficiencies that can show up in our nutrition. Some of my favorite herbal nutritive tonics are things like astragalus, reishi mushroom, saw palmetto. Goji berry is another one that I love. So these are herbs that are very nutritive, right? There's a lot of antioxidant support and other nutrients in these herbs that give the body that nutritive quality that it needs to stay healthy and balanced. When we understand that, we can start bringing in these herbs and using them. Maybe some of our mineral rich herbs like parsley, alfalfa, nettles, dandelion. There's so many actually that we can use. So I'll use these as food sometimes, right? If I'm cooking a pot of soup or a stir fry, just throw some parsley in there. You can even sprinkle in a little bit of nettles. You can make a nice nettle tea. And so using these mineral rich and nutritive tonics can be really valuable in helping to get the body to that place of being balanced and bringing energy into the system so that we can have that capacity, right, of the nervous system to handle whatever comes up and we aren't overwhelmed by the stresses and the day-to-day responsibilities in life. There are also some adaptogens that are also considered nutritive, things like reishi mushroom. The ginsengs, American ginseng, Asian ginseng have some nutritive qualities as well. And I think of Shazandra as a lovely nutritive tonic. It's often combined with goji berry in kind of traditional Chinese medicine as a really supportive nutritive tonic for energy and longevity and beauty. And so I love that combination in order to support, again, this idea that we need to bring energy into the body, into the system, if you will. So we have that capacity to handle what comes up in life, to handle the stress, the day-to-day tasks that are on our plate, and to have the nutritive qualities that we need in order to, repair and heal and to continue to feel good in our body. So I love these nutritive tonics for this reason. And these are so lovely. Really, anyone can benefit from using these herbs in different ways, teas, foods, tinctures. And if we're dealing with a type of situation where we're feeling weak and depleted and fatigued, and maybe you would use that word overwhelmed, this is a time to be thinking about nutritive tonics to support your mood and energy. And again, we go back to, how do we know which herb is the right herb? We've talked about several, right? We've talked about some adaptogens, some things like hawthorn and goji and nettles and alfalfa. Where do we start? Which ones do we need? Well, what can be really helpful is to understand your own unique energetic patterns, right? How they are showing up in your body, because each herb has its own unique energetic pattern as well. And when we balance the energetic patterns that are showing up in our body with the energetic patterns of the herbs that we're using, that's where we can get a lot of benefit and really see the results we're looking for in using herbs. So if you're interested in learning more about using nutritive tonics and using herbal energetics to balance your mood and energy, I have a free guide below that helps you get started. I have a free masterclass that you can sign up for as well. I'd love to share more with you about using herbs and adaptogens to support your health. And I also have some videos on my YouTube channel, so check those out. I talk a little bit more about how to use herbal energetics to find that place of balance and energy and support that we're all looking for, so we can feel good in our body, have the energy we need to handle life with success and grace and ease, and feel our best. So check out all of those resources, and I will see you next time.